JB's here sending me things at the last minute. He made his picks of Game of the Week finally at like 8:50 a.m. He's sending me things. He's like, hey, this is great for the cold open. And, I'm still licking my wounds. Yeah, well, that's the theme this week for sure. Crunch Time probably coming out on a Thursday, which we try to avoid, but still a great response from the show. You're like, oh, we missed our window. Yeah. There's no window. We are the window. Come on, man.
Thousands of views later, I guess, once again, I've proven wrong.
Well, hey, it is what it is. We got some good stuff to start the show with here as Week 6 begins on Friday Live for us. And let's start. I believe this is Franklin that you sent me, right? For Breakfast Bowl weekend, no less. We'll talk more about that coming up with our first guest. But here is, I believe, the team manager, who I think is it maybe Down syndrome or something along those lines.
That's right.
Scoring a big 99.5-yard touchdown.
I think among other things, I think it's Down syndrome sort of awareness, support for the families out there. And so this is a really cool thing that the Grizz did.
Here we go.
Go, GM. Let's go, number 30. Let's go, 30. Big 3-0. Let's go, GM. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is absolutely
what a thrill
awesome.
for that little guy.
Yeah,
although it sounds like the person with the camera may need to do some more wind sprints. They're kind of getting gas there once they hit about the 30, 40-yard line. Those long road trips, music is a big deal. Thank God for, the iPhones and all the devices that you can put in your headphones so you don't have to hear each other's music anymore. Like, when you used to be on a team in, like, the 90s, how did music get selected back then? I guess whatever tape cassette and boombox was available. We're going way back, Frank. This is like the dawn of CDs when back in the day, So, there would be some stuff playing over the loudspeakers and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure it's not that different in certain ways, like how song, just whatever is the popular stuff, whatever gets you jacked up. But the technology and the delivery is way better than it was 30 plus years ago. Yeah.
Well, according to Adrian, maybe the delivery needs to be better on certain people's music. Here we go.
Who on the team has a worst music taste?
I'd probably say Ethan Layton.
Who on the team has a worst music taste?
I'm going to have to go with Coach Ream.
Bryce Keller.
Gotta be Van Dyke.
Carson Lewis.
I'm going to have to go with Coach Ream after his playlist today. It was not that good at all.
I love you, Coach Ty.
Coach Ream. You're done with Hawks.
Coach Prince, for sure.
Andrew Van Dyke. Quincy Dorsey.
Who on the team has a worst music taste?
Definitely Andrew Van Dyke, without a doubt.
Desmond Blanch.
Desmond Blanch.
Bennett Gill.
Who on the team has a worst music taste?
Definitely Andrew Van Dyke.
Andrew. Although Coach Raim, I'd love to know what Coach Raim's playlist contained that was so bad that day.
Yeah.
If somebody could let us know, we'd love to hear what music shouldn't be listened to. First, Mary Hardin Baylor Hardin Simmons matchup is coming up this weekend, and
Giddy up.
Looks like there might be some special threads being worn by one of the teams here. I do have to shut down the audio on this about midway through because otherwise we're going to get flagged for this. But we'll start it up, see how it goes.
Hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you move.
So Harden Simmons looking like they're going for the Black Threads for this big game.
Led
game
Zeppelin
number
intro.
one in
I love it. That's old school. That's even older than me, Frank. That's saying something.
JB will have something else possibly from Hope coming up in a little bit too, but I'll have to work on getting that all together in a little bit. But look, we got a guest in the wings. We've got Friday Live coming up here and some great games to talk about in Week 6. So you know how this works. You know what the show's called. Let's go. It's time for Week 6's Friday Live on Season 18 of In the Huddle. We see Season 18 like it's nothing, but when you just grasp the fact that we've been doing this for literally 17 plus years now to get to Season 18, or at least I have, you've been along for the ride in some form or fashion. It's an incredible ride to say the least. Yep. So thanks to everybody that supported us along the way, for sure. We have lots of information slides and whatnot, but only one such slide for. I'm just realizing. We're going over a little bit on our wording there on Region 1 because once we added you, we sort of muffed it up there. But we'll let it stand for now because you and I have agreed on our Region 1 Game of the Week. Misericordia versus Lepval, both 3-0 in the MAC. How the hell did this happen? I don't know. But Del Valle is not in the lead in the MAC. It's these two teams right now that are... Middlebury and Williams, a big game in the NESCAC. But I will be attending another game in the NESCAC tomorrow night. I will be catching probably only the second quarter forward from it with respect to the Bates Tufts game at 7 p.m. I'll probably get there around 7:30 if I had to guess. And then SUNY Maritime, USMMA. So, SUNY Maritime 0-2 in the new MAC. So after that nice start, they had a 2-1. JB, it's going to be against a team that's 2-0, and it looks like.
And I have an update finally. Remember how we were just having a lot of fun with Bubba Mustaine's name, and I thought he was from Texas. Well, actually, he's from southeastern Arizona, not far from the border. So he's like from. Sort of where Tombstone was shot, right? Oro Valley, I think, is his hometown. So he's actually from Arizona. So a Bubba from Arizona, still cowboy country, makes sense to me. And, it'll be interesting to see if the Mariners can keep that undefeated record going. There's only 23 left, and it's going to drop down probably below 20 this weekend, maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Take a look at that in a little bit. We've got those queued up as well. But Kings,
we got a
Stevenson,
game tonight.
Yep, I was just going to say.
That's
Kings,
a Friday
Stevenson
night lights
game for sure. We found out there's another Friday game next week that's of some impact. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later too. So Friday night games starting to come back in fashion suddenly. Del Valle Eastern at both 2-1. Who would have thought that, for that matter, too?
Yeah.
Otherwise, pretty quiet Region 1 week after some real oomph going on there for a little bit. Let's go to Region 2 and then go to our guest. And I will be attending the Hobart Union game. That's why I'm wearing my Union hat. And you're wearing your Hobart hat on this slide where you are under the Carnegie Mellon Johns Hopkins game. Are you in denial that this game is this week or something? Is that what's going on here?
A little bit. It was tough listening to the Hobart football podcast and hearing like over a quarter of the team couldn't practice this week because of injuries. And I don't know what's going on with the strength and conditioning deal over at HWS, but I've seen it for a few years with the lacrosse program. A lot of guys not able to play because of injuries, and now it's starting to hit the football team. I'm wondering what the heck's going on. But still, Hopkins, Carnegie Mellon, I know that the Academic Bowl is between the Tartans and the Spartans of Case Western, but isn't there like 70 all academic All-Americans over the last 10, 15 years from these universities? So I mean, these are some smart guys that know how to play football. And really, this is sort of the marquee game. Region 2 really gets to shine in Week 6. Last weekend, it was mostly Region 6. And the WIAC this weekend, it's in Week 6. It's Region 2 that gets the spotlight. And this Carnegie Mellon Johns Hopkins game is going to be a big reason for that.
Westminster, Washington, Jefferson, a big pack game. The winner, walks out of there as pretty much one of the leaders of the pack. Hobart Union, I'm going to give you some stuff from our friend Andrew Santillo, who I think is actually interviewing Coach DeWall as we speak right now, so he might not be hearing me give this information, but here we go. Home team has won the last 8 meetings between Hobart and Union, dating back to 2016. That came from Ken DeBolt, their SID. No game in 2020, and 2019 and 2021 were both in Schenectady, just as an FYI. He says he assumes we're picking this game. Of course we are today. And he said last 3-game losing streak for Hobart was in 1997. Is that right? Yeah. 1997?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, wow. They're off to their worst start since my senior year of 1995. This 1-4 mark is, I mean, Hobart, they may not have been competing for national championships, but they haven't had a losing season in 30 years. They're typically a 7, 8, 9, 10 win kind of a program. So to start off like this has been a tough pill to swallow for Statesman fans. And yeah, when I was doing my little write-up for my Hobart blog that I do on the side, last time we won in Schenectady, I think, was in 2015. So that's been 10 years. We were there for the 21 game, which was fantastic, overtime game. Went back and forth. And, Coach Strock, hey, let's give him credit. He has turned things around pretty fast. Last year, Hobart shut out this Dutchman team. And this year it feels like this is the Dutchman's game to lose based on what's going on with the Statesmen. So we'll see. It's always a great rivalry game. Hopefully, it'll, no funny stuff, but should be a good one either way.
The way the season's going, Hobart's in this game already. Don't worry about it because this season's just been that kind of season. I want to go back to this slide for 1 second. Bottom left game, Rowan at Montclair. The Breakfast Bowl 2, can pork roll retain the pig? That's well put by you there, James. And I think our first guest here, we're going to bring him on in. He's got something right next to him that I think is proper for the occasion. Here we go.
It look like this.
Senior linebacker Anthony Henriquez is joining us here. And what on earth is that next to you there, Anthony?
This right here, this nice little breakfast bowl trophy. If you guys can see it, I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
yep.
Yes, sir.
Good. Very nice. That's from last year, right? You guys won it last year. And have retained it, and Montclair obviously wants it back at this point. We'll get to that in a second. First, thanks for joining us, and thanks for Coach Rulli for assisting us in getting this together. But Anthony, what an interesting season so far for Rowan. I sort of hate you guys because you ended up giving me the programming headache from hell because of the tie in Week 1 versus Case Western Reserve, a game that you guys seem to have the momentum in. But you end up having to put that as a half a win, half a loss, basically, on your record. Then, you're flying high there for a bit, and now, that CNU game, double overtime, I believe it was last week, a tough one to swallow. How do you get back on track? What did you guys talk about this week with respect to last week's game and how to use this week to sort of get yourselves back into the right spot?
Well, it was a heartbreaker for sure, but we weren't gonna just focus on sitting around licking our wounds too much. We were gonna feel the sorrow from the loss. Then right when Monday came, it was back to work, erase everything that happened that Saturday, and just focus on bouncing back. We know our backs are now against the wall, and we just have to come out and work.
Well, absolutely. Well, Anthony, you're a Hoboken grad from high school. You're a Jersey guy. Tell us a little bit about, this whole, pork roll, breakfast bowl sort of backstory for people who may not be familiar with it, and what it means to the Northern Jersey community and what you guys are trying to do to help people out.
Yeah, well, it's growing up all my life. It's always been pork roll. Yeah, it's always been pork roll, but we're just trying to bring light to the Division three football and make it something bigger than what it is, honestly. And with this second annual game that's about to go on, we're just looking to bring more excitement, have everybody come out, show love, and just bring a competitive nature to our league for real.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys are also raising a lot of money for hunger awareness out there as well. So kudos to you. I think I saw Pat Coleman. Yeah, food security, insecurity issues. What was it, like $6,000 or something like that? I think was what I had read on D3 Football. So you guys deserve a lot of credit for that for sure. But this is all happening amid a big, NJAC scenario. There's Salisbury. You guys got to meet Connor Berry up close and personal. He's a heck of a quarterback for CNU. You guys are still well in the hunt here because of the way this thing may play out. And NPI might be nice to you guys with or without the tie. Who knows? So, at this point of the season, and we'll put your schedule up here in a moment so that folks can see what I mean by this, the Christopher Newport game for some reason didn't update. I'm sure you guys like that fact, but it is in the record for whatever reason, 49-41. But listen, how do you guys view this season, especially after last year with Coach Ruley coming in, fresh and seeming to really hit the ground running? How did you guys look at this season coming into it, and how do you feel about it right now?
Honestly, we still have the same view on the season, even though we had the first game in a tie and lost a close one to CNU. We still view it the same because everything's still on the table for us. We still have a chance to go out and compete in the playoffs and show everybody what Rowan football is. We're waking up some eyes early, but we still have to show everybody who we truly are. I feel like everybody still hasn't gotten to see Rowan football at its full potential.
JB, if I can, I just want to ask a follow-up. Tell us about Ruley. I got to meet him during his time at Susquehanna. He was a bit of a beast out there for sure. And maybe contrast the former coach, because I think you've been there long enough to know, the changes that may have occurred along the way. But tell us about Coach Ruley, though, especially, and what he breeds with respect to this program as a first-time head coach, I believe, at Rowan.
Well, great head coach, great competitor, great leader. I just want to start off with that. He is smart, great schematically, just great overall, and he's going to definitely change the culture at Rowan. Definitely bring more eyes to Rowan for sure, and hopefully a couple more trophies down in Glassboro.
Well, it seems like a big part, at least for the defensive side, success is getting you into the double-digit side of things for tackle-wise. In your games against Case and Christopher Newport, you had, I think, 11, 13 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss. You basically, it looks like you average about 8 or 9 tackles per game. I mean, so is it important for you as a linebacker and the senior, kind of the leader of that defense, to sort of just get in there and get that first hit out of the way in the beginning of the game? Or is it really just sort of being, just see what the offense is bringing at you, calling either the coverages or the plays from the defensive side and just see what happens?
Yeah, well, I do like to get that first hit out the way early, just to, get the nerves out the way and just be able to play football. But it's really more so on my guys up front. They make a lot of things clear for me to just be able to read and react, and schematically going through the week, watching film with Coach Ruley, understanding the other team's scheme and where they want to run the ball, where they want to get to. So it's just a mixture of my teammates and understanding the other team's game plan for real.
You keep using the word schematics. It sounds like you are somebody who likes to watch the film, likes to get down and deep on the X's and O's, and that's something unique in this day and age. Is a lot of guys hate watching the film or just hate, trying to go in that realm. What motivated you to get to that level of, the football X's and O's and dedicate yourself to that degree, even in Division III? Is there coaching maybe in the future for you at some point?
I would love to coach after my football career is done, but my dad played football at Kent State, and ever since I was 6 years old, he always taught me that was the most important part of the game. Watching film, understanding where you need to be, how to fit certain run fits. So when game time comes, you're allowed to just go out there and play fast, and it's not really you thinking on where you got to go, just more so reacting.
You should be proud. You've definitely picked it up for sure. JB, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I have a bit of a two-part question for you, Anthony. I was looking at your bio, these handsome headshots you got over here, and I noticed that your junior year you were number 23. This year you're number 1, which you don't always see middle linebackers at the number 1, but I kind of like that. But I also noticed that there isn't like a freshman and sophomore photo, so I'm assuming that you may have transferred into Rowan or had something going on for the first couple of years of your career. Where'd you come from?
Yes, sir. My freshman and sophomore year, I was at Monroe College up in New Rochelle, New York. JUCO.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yes.
We have. Yep. We both have. Yep. And, okay, for those out there that don't believe necessarily in the JUCO setup to, let's say, the 4-year experience scenario, how did it work for you? I mean, is it a pathway for folks that aren't necessarily ready for the 4-year, especially in the game of football? Tell people about it a little bit.
Yes, sir. Well, I feel like JUCO is honestly a great route if you want to get more of an understanding of the game, see what path you want to take school-wise, if the degree you chose at first is the degree for you. Like, even more so just becoming a grown man. I was more so on my own. I didn't have my mom, my dad, or anybody near me. It was just living on my own for the first time, figuring out a lot of things. And honestly, I feel like it kind of matured me in a good way.
That's awesome, and folks out there, take note. I mean, there's no shame in, trade schools and community colleges and stuff like that in this world. I mean, there's a great need to make sure that we have all bases covered out there, and for a guy like you, it's a great springboard to get to where you are right now. But then, of course, the question that follows is, why'd you pick Rowan? Because I have a feeling you had a little bit of demand coming out of JUCO. So why Rowan ultimately?
Well, last year, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jason Blanks. That's one of my closest friends. I grew up with him. And also Alfredo Gonzalez. These two were already at Rowan, and I finished my JUCO route and just was looking for a place I can play football, be close to home, and enjoy my last 2 years of college football.
That's awesome. Anthony, I got a question for you. JB, not to jump on this, but I have a funny feeling you may be in the coach's office right now looking at the beautiful fur jacket that's behind you over there.
Oh, yeah.
Is the beard available? Is he somewhere within earshot that he might be able to appear in the camera angle for us?
He isn't in the room right now. He might be in the hallway, though. Yeah. If you guys want me to go check outside with you.
I think we need to see the beard. So let's do this. Before we give you your shout-outs and all that, I'm going to pull away to the other games in Region 2 real quick that we didn't get to, and we'll let you go track them down real quick. We've never tried this before, so we'll go for that, okay?
Gotta love live. There we go.
Go right ahead. So, JB,
right.
we will get to this last part in a second here, but any games popping out here on the rest of Region 2 coming up here?
Well, I think one of the games, if you jump to the other slide that we didn't really talk about, is the Muhlenberg F&M game, I'm pretty sure, is a big one. Yeah, so both undefeated in the Centennial. This is a game that the Mules are going to probably need if they want to keep that run and to compete for the conference title. So F&M, not an easy out, especially at their home field. So that's a big game to keep an eye on. That's a Saturday 1 o'clock kickoff. There's a ton of 1 o'clock kickoffs. We'll get into that a little bit later. But let's jump to the next slide. And
hold on. Let's jump to a new nameplate.
Oh, look at this guy. Okay. Hey, Coach.
How you guys doing?
We're good. Okay,
well.
The
How are
beard
you?
is looking good. I feel like it's been longer before when I've seen you at certain points in times throughout ends of seasons or whatnot. What is the strategy, Coach, about the beard? Do you shave it on losses at all? Do you just keep it no matter what? How do you handle what has become a second entity related to you at this point, the beard?
Well, a few things with that. I think that obviously late in the season is when you typically see me. So a little colder out, it's a little added insulation. Also, I don't know if you know or not, but I'm not really gifted on the top of my head. So this is really my, James Harden, staple type fear the beard type situation here, right? I always tell barbers if I allow somebody to touch my face that you got to protect this because it's not like I'm really, privileged on the top of my head. So this is really how I gotta, make my, hair fashion statement, I suppose. But yeah, it's it'll change lengths usually to start the season, especially in camp. I'll take it pretty low and allow it to kind of grow in a little bit, but it's all I got, so I got to make the most of it.
We want to give you an opportunity to tell folks a little bit more about Breakfast Bowl because I know that you've been instrumental in putting this together with Coach Palazzo down at Montclair as well. What was the thought behind it, and why is it so important? Is this going to become a mainstay for these schools? Do you think?
Yeah. So first, I gotta, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out, Mike, Coach Palazzo. Him and I have known each other a long time, and even when I was interviewing for this job, him and he was kind of already behind the scenes working on it, and hopefully whoever took over, Rowan football would be on board with going full speed ahead with the game. And it's the first trophy game in the history of the NJAC. I believe I'm correct in saying that it's actually the two most winning programs out of the New Jersey schools in NJAC history in football. And so, I know when I played here, there were a lot of heated contested games, and kind of adding a little bit of stakes to that. Creating a trophy game, which obviously always elevates the game, and then doing it kind of for a great reason and also trying to settle an age-old debate throughout the state. So, being able to bring awareness to food insecurity and, hopefully raise a good amount of money to impact people who are underprivileged and underserved in that regard, and then on top of that, get bragging rights for, what the true name of that breakfast meat is, which obviously is pork roll.
JB, awesome. Take it.
Well, Coach, Anthony was telling us a lot about schematics, and I imagine you guys have been looking at film and getting ready for this week. Are there certain things that you just sort of know when you're going up against your old buddy Palazzo that you have to be prepared for from an offensive, defensive perspective? Or are there little wrinkles you gotta, since you know each other, that you gotta throw in there to try to catch them off guard without giving away the company plan, so to speak? How do you prepare for the game against a buddy?
Yeah, so we haven't played against each other a ton, but he actually took my first job down at Towson. He actually replaced me there, and so we've that was 13, 14 years ago now. So we kind of connected in that way, and it's funny how kind of life works and brings us back here, but. They do a great job schematically. They have a new offensive coordinator this year who's much different kind of operationally than they were a year ago. And so obviously trying to get a beat on what they're doing there. And yeah, they're going to be multiple in the special teams department. They have some playmakers on the outside offensively and in the backfield that if you're not on your P's and Q's, they can certainly hurt you. So yeah, we approach this week and understand after that heartbreaking loss last week, our guys are looking to bounce back and hopefully make a statement and keep the momentum rolling forward.
Now, is Anthony still within earshot? Because we did not give him a chance for his shout outs. We got to make sure we do that for him. So if Anthony wants to come back in for a second, come on in, Anthony.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
It's not Pat Ruley anymore, folks. It's Anthony Henriquez. I'm not going to go back and change that real quick, but Anthony, I want to give you a chance for shout-outs. We enjoy having you for sure, and I learned a lot about you and some great stuff there for sure, so thank you for doing this. But any shout-outs to any family, friends, teammates, etc., Anthony Henriquez, the floor is yours for those shout-outs.
I just want to shout out my mom, my dad, my brothers, and my sisters. I appreciate you guys for everything. Love you guys. Shout out Jason Blanks. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, bro. And shout out Coach Ruley and Coach Kirkland. That's all I got.
That's plenty. We appreciate you, like we said, and we're twofer we got here. A little bonus coverage with Coach Ruley as well, but we enjoyed you immensely. So
I'm going to shout out Biscuit. Now that I know who Biscuit is, it took me a while.
Biscuit. Come back for your 6th year, Biscuit. Come on, Biscuit. 6 years. Anyway, Anthony, best of luck in the Breakfast Bowl 2. We're not going to pick sides on it necessarily here, but we just want a great game, and thanks again.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Anthony,
that was a good twofer.
Absolutely was.
Double pork roll.
I'm going to go back now to the slide we keep trying to get to, and I'm going to point out, Lycoming-Susquehanna is an important game here to see if Susquehanna can get back on track after their bye week, after a 2-game losing streak. This is an important game. It's against 1-4 Lycoming, who's 1-0 in the landmark, but start league play strong. Get Josh Ehrlich back into the headspace he needs to be in, I think, and we'll see how this goes. I'm looking down this here. Westcon New Haven.
This is a kind of a lackluster schedule. Yeah. Westcon New Haven could be interesting. This doesn't really matter for the Wolves as far as NPI and being undefeated, at least from a D3 perspective. Keep in mind wins and losses for outside division don't count. So hey, give them credit. They're going to play this upper division school just down the road. Give them a good, I imagine New Haven is probably not too different from some of the upper echelon D3 teams as far as talent goes, so it's a good test for them. And that, to me, is really the best matchup on here.
Let's go to Region 3 then. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start off with far right with Trinity versus Barry. This is a game that I attended 2 years ago, and it was fantastic. Some people may say this is a SAA championship game. It's under the lights on Saturday night. They're in Rome, Georgia, and Valhalla, which is a beautiful stadium. They've got a huge, pre-game march with the acts. It's a whole thing. The pomp and circumstance is going to be really something else, and we'll see. And I know that some people think that this could be a game that Trinity could lose. And Barry's been tested. They played Carnegie Mellon pretty tough a couple weeks ago, so we'll see. This should be a good one in the SAA. Elsewhere, Southern Virginia, who is 4-0, maybe really 3-0, depending on whether that win they had last weekend actually counted or not. Brevard, who had a letdown against Belhaven, is trying to bounce back. So we'll see how that one goes in North Carolina. And then I'll let you take this round one of Crusaders versus Cowboys.
Not much else we can say about it besides, with a little bit of a struggle versus ETBU for UMHB and then struggles by Hardin Sims. I'm really curious to see who makes it out of this game one alive with respect to their win-loss record. UMHB can't afford to lose this game, okay? Assume that another loss, yes, albeit one of those is Mars Hill, 2 losses this early. I just don't think it plays out the same way this year with a loss to Wisconsin Whitewater as being part of their record this year. That's the difference compared to last year in this whole thing. And, a fourth loss or a third loss in D3 to Hardin Simmons, if they were to lose 2 against Hardin Simmons, that would absolutely do them in. There's just no way, I don't think, that their NPI would be that forgiving of them in that situation. But we'll see how it plays out, obviously. Let's go to the last couple games here in Region 3, and we'll keep on trucking here, and that's ETBU and Howard Payne. We'll see if Howard Payne can continue to be a little bit upstart here, and Texas Lutheran Centenary. Region 4, at this point, I'll start with Hanover Mount St. Joe's. They may be 2-2, but they're both 1-0 in the HCAC, and so it is a key HCAC game. You're taking the OAC, though, and go ahead.
Yeah, Marietta didn't look so great last weekend, and so Heidelberg could be, looking for an opportunity to get to 2-1 in the OAC and put themselves in a position to maybe get into one of those open doors bowls. Easy for me to say. And so, I had to poke a little fun at our buddy Ty Poorman. His father Jim and I are friends, and they're from the Orlando area, and so he was the homecoming king. Can he carry his crown into Marietta and come away with a win? We will see, and that should be a good one. Ohio Northern, look at them, 3-0 in the OAC. They're going to take on a 2-0 Muskingum team, which is, hey, it's not Mount Union, but there's some bragging rights on the line here.
And looking at the undercard per se, John Carroll Wittenberg could be an interesting NCAC game. John Carroll wants to sort of put their foot on the accelerator and keep it there this time because Wabash nearly came back on them last week. And they're in the aforementioned Wabash in the second slot there. That's about all I'm seeing jump out.
Denison Worcester could be good. And, hey, Kenyon and Oberlin, somebody's got to get a win finally. These poor guys. So hopefully,
break the losing streak.
Hopefully something good happens there.
You've got Illinois College Monmouth for 5.
Yeah, this is a game that Monmouth can kind of solidify itself as the leader in the Midwest Conference if they win it. Illinois College could mess things up and maybe create some tiebreaker scenarios depending on how that one goes. Over in the ARC, Coe's high-flying offense is going to go to the Storm, I think it is, and Simpson. So that's a good one at 2 o'clock. And then we want the funk. Frank, tell us about this one.
Well, come on. Concordia, Wisconsin has been sharing our stuff because they know that we are funky town around here. And
right.
Roman Funk is the key character that we picked up on a few weeks ago. And he keeps appearing in our crunch time scripts for a good reason.
Doing a great job.
He's doing a great job.
3-0 in the NACC, leading the charge.
If it ain't broke, you put the funk on it, I guess. So let's see if they're able to continue it against Lakeland. Looking at the undercard here a little bit, Benedictine Eureka could be interesting. Going backward here, Wartburg 5-0.
Illinois Wesleyan maybe 2-1 teams. This is a game I think Wheaton will be favored in considerably, but.
Also, back page here, Milliken at North Central for next victim up at 7 p.m. And that's about it. Let's just
another night game
at
for
this
them.
Point.
Nice.
I know. I can't believe they're hosting 2 straight night games.
At this point, North Central can just rest all its starters until the playoffs. They're on cruise control now. So,
JB, I'll get to Region 6 in a second. I got to fix something on it because. Same issue as Region 1, but it's even worse. So in the meantime, hopefully we don't get knocked out on the music on this one, but we're going to do something from our friends at Hope College.
Six, 7. I know that's a thing with the kids now.
Yeah. So I'm going to reverse you here. You're going undercard first on 6. Here we go.
Okay. So, yeah, this is the kind of after dark segment, where we got Cal-Lou and Laverne at 10 p.m. And I think this Pacific Linfield is 4 o'clock. So, yeah, not a whole lot of SoCal after dark, it seems, this week. But some Northwest Conference action. Got Redlands trying to bounce back against Claremont Mudd Scripps. Both of these teams need a win in conference. And so we're keeping going with Northwest. Lewis and Clark, can they get to 5-0 against Willamette? We'll see. Pac Lutheran is trying to get to 2-0 in the NWC. You got St. John's looking to bounce back against McAllister. Carleton, they're still on a roll against. This is a game I think they'll win, Frank. They could be 4-1 and 4-0 in the MIAC, which is pretty amazing. You got Whitewater after last week's really disappointing loss going to Stevens Point is a game they should probably win. Gustavus, St. Olaf should be competitive. I know Gustavus is having a rough year, but these rivals usually take it to each other pretty well. You've got some UMAC games. You got Bethel, Augsburg, which could be interesting. And then, Eau Claire, Lacrosse. I mean, the Eagles should win that one pretty handily. I thought briefly to maybe make the Chapman-Pomona-Pitzer game my game of the week because these are the
I think JB froze up on me here, and our guest is fine. Might have lost him in his internet land there, so I'll pick up on this for a second here and say he actually was thinking the same thing I was with respect to Chapman Pomona Pitzer, with respect to the importance that game's going to have in the SCIAC. And I saw Chapman last week, 27-0. JB's back. But JB, I'm saying I thought the same exact thing as you. With respect to Chapman Pomona Pitzer, but the game of the week is Platteville River Falls. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
We have a guest ready to go here, and before we lose you again due to some unforeseen circumstance, let's get him into the show here, and that is senior linebacker Gage Timm joining us here. And Gage, appreciate you joining us. That office looks familiar. I feel like we interviewed somebody from there on Selection Sunday last year, Coach Walker, in that same room right there. It wasn't happy news, and right now you guys have to bounce back from a loss last week against an upstart Oshkosh team, and here's another big game in the WIAC against Platteville. First off, thanks for joining us, but I mean, what's been the talk this week to try to shake off what happened last week and get ready for this big game coming up?
First thing I'd say is just thank you guys for having me, but then, I mean, just being in this conference, we know that it's like battles every week. Just keeping everyone together, knowing that like if we stay together, we can do this and like we can do big things in this conference. Just being in the WIAC, like crazy things happen like week to week. So I mean, like just because we lost week 1 doesn't mean like we're out of this contention for the WIAC championship.
Yeah, it looks like you've played 35 games in your career, Gage. This will be number 36. That was my old number, so I'm a big fan of that number. You wear number 12 as a linebacker, which is interesting. It's kind of like a Tom Brady thing. So as captain of the defense, what were some of the things that you took away from last weekend's game, maybe some less important lessons or things you're trying to maybe teach the younger guys on your unit, or just things that you think you can improve upon to help you get a win on Saturday?
The first thing would just be we got to be more assignment sound, and like everything that we do is we just had a couple plays where we were out of position, and they took advantage of that and had big plays off of it.
Yeah, I mean, watching it back on our Crunch Time show, I don't always get to get the clips until after we do the scripting and everything else and I was watching it back. The end of that game was just kind of crazy. It seemed like you guys had the QB dead to rights, and he still got the pass off and got the score ultimately. And that seems to be the story of what this conference is going to be or look like all season or the remainder of the season. It's going to be nip and tuck, and it could be one-score games going the wrong way and stuff like that. How do you, as JB said, a leader in the defense, how do you sort of get your team to make sure that you aren't in those positions where something like that can bite you in this pretty deep conference that you're in the WIAC?
Just starting fast and taking advantage of opportunities early so that like later in the game it just doesn't catch up to us where, I mean, they're in a position where they can win the game is defensively if we just play better and don't let them score as much early. In like that first half, it could be a whole different game there.
You guys have had your offense put the pedal to the metal in the first games you played, obviously, and last week was a much different animal. Here is, and your game did update the fourth game, and you probably don't want to see that one either. But I mean, looking at those numbers, 45, 59, 65, and then 17, obviously the drop-off says a lot about Oshkosh's defense too, but obviously a much different game. Go ahead, JB.
Well, I'm curious, Gage, from after looking at the film, because to me, that Platteville is a bit of an enigma. You know, they blew out Aurora, they blew out Dubuque, they blew out Stevens Point, but without kind of a lucky break at the end of the first half against Springfield, which is a perennial playoff team and a good team from Region 1, but they really only beat them by a touchdown. So do you see this Platteville team as having that explosive offense, or from what you maybe saw from the Springfield tape, like there's some things we can do here to shut these guys down?
Yeah, they're definitely an explosive offense, but I mean, just with scheme, we just gotta be in positions where we can like cap the receivers and take advantage of small mistakes that they make, hopefully.
Gage, Coach Walker has become somebody that has really caught the nation by storm at times. He's definitely somebody that understands marketing a team. There's no doubt about it, despite all the tongue-in-cheek back and forth we've had throughout the summer or whatnot about some stuff. He definitely knows how to market it. And in a competitive conference like the WEAC, getting people to notice you is a big deal to try to get the depth in the roster and get the great players like you to the school. Tell us about your relationship with Coach Walker and what makes him different in your eyes in a good way.
What makes him different is like he's very open and honest with like everyone. I feel like there's a lot of coaches out there that like they're going to tell you what they want you to hear and not necessarily be like blunt and honest with everyone. He does a good job with that, and that was something that like really caught my eye and was like something that I appreciate is. It's like I don't want to just be like told this and then like this is what actually something else actually happens off of that. I mean, relationship wise, I feel like we're pretty close now. I spend a lot of time in the office, so it's just talking with him all the time, and I feel like all of our coaches here are very like friendly and they want to build relationships with you. It's not just, all right, this is what we want you to do on Saturdays. They're big on like a family role.
Well, speaking of family, Gage, your hometown is Shawano, Wisconsin, which I guess, according to the 2020 census, had less than 10,000 people, which is about half of what some of the WIAC games seem to have in attendance. So how does a guy from a very small, little, like kind of probably rural Midwestern town, looks like you grew up sort of in the shadow of Green Bay. I know you wear red now, but you probably have a cheese head somewhere, stashed away, being a Packers fan growing up. But how did kind of coming out of Shawano, such a small area, to a relatively high profile, big D3, large Wisconsin university? Tell us a little bit about how you got there.
There were some coaches that I played against in high school that knew, like Coach Matheson, our offensive coordinator. So it was like, I think that was the big thing is when I talked to them is they kind of brought my name up to Matheson. And then, I don't know, from there it was just when I stepped on campus, it just kind of felt like home here.
Well, that's what I've heard a lot of people say about River Falls. It is kind of a homey place. And, the numbers aren't huge there. You're not looking at a huge enrollment there. So it's a great place. In the Wisconsin structure there. I'm going to ask you a question about the conference in its entirety. You saw probably D3 football named you guys in the WEAC number one again, and there's no surprise in that. But the perennial argument has been by us that how your conference performs in the playoffs does matter in this whole thing. What's your take on what the current state of the WEAC is? Is it that deep? Is it all that? What is it like playing week to week against these teams, especially when you start up this part of the season? Are you kind of like, oh my God, here we go again, with this tough part of this, schedule? How do you focus on it with your experience now at River Falls?
I would just say like just handling it 1 week at a time is because, I mean, like you guys said, it's ranked the number one conference, and I mean every week it seems like there's a battle. It doesn't matter who you're playing, everyone's going to be ready for you. They're going to be giving you your best shot, and just got to be ready to play every week once we get into this conference play. And 'Cause, I mean, as you've seen, like in the past, like there's been some crazy like scores and like upsets that happen in the conference. So just being ready
Oh, yeah.
every week and knowing that anyone can hand you a loss.
Yeah, well, but at the same time, I'll tell you, we've come from a time when it was Whitewater and only Whitewater for a period of time too, and then teams like yours have popped into this. Caleb, obviously a tremendous quarterback, and a little surprised at some of how last week played out, but it takes nothing away from his game and what he's done to get you guys a profile there. Platteville coming along the way right now too. Oshkosh doing what they did in the second half of the 2010s. It really seems like things have spread out in that conference in a way that it is constantly a challenge, like you're saying. And so, kudos to you guys for getting that program to where it is and keeping it where it's been for the last few years. And it's guys like you that did that. And that's my last question for you. Your legacy. What do you want your legacy to be now that you're pretty much getting ready to sign off there as a college football player? What legacy would you like to leave behind in this final year of things?
I would just say that I want people to remember me for being someone who just did the right thing during all times, being a good leader for everyone, showing people this is the way we do things, this is our standard, and then holding everyone accountable to it.
It's awesome. JB is going to offer you, I think,
definitely a very high standard. I mean, I'm looking at this guy and 178 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, 7 sacks in his career. You scored a touchdown last year. Was that a pick six or a scoop and score?
No, it was a punt block.
Hey,
might as well be a scoop and score
on special teams.
Yeah, great job there.
Well, I'm gonna give Gage a little bit of a hard time here because his stat line so far this year looks really good. 30 tackles, 2 TFL, but he's got a goose egg in the sack department. Come on, man, we got to get you a sack this weekend against Platteville. Let's make it happen. All right.
All right.
Gage, we're going to give you a chance for shout-outs, any family, friends, teammates, etc. Appreciate having you on here. And I can tell you're a little shy when it comes to this stuff, but you're not shy on that football field, being 22 tackles away from 200 right now in your career, which is a hell of a number, to say the least. And congratulations to you on that. But go ahead, Gage, Timm, with any shout-outs. The floor is yours.
First, I'd like to shout out my parents and my brother, just supporting me along the way. And then the coaching staff here, Coach Walk and Wiss, Wiss has always been there for me, getting me in positions to make plays. So I really appreciate that. Our strength staff here, shout out them, getting us ready every week. And then I'd say just the whole team, it's the family that we have here.
Awesome. Well, best of luck in what's going to be a national game of the week for sure tomorrow. We're going to be watching it from afar. Sometime I'm going to get out there for another WIAC game for sure, but I want to see how this season develops a little bit before I figure out when and how. But, River Falls is probably going to be in that equation if I had to guess. We'll be picking this game in a little bit. We'll see what we pick, but ultimately we'll see how it turns out on the football field on Saturday. Thanks again, Gage, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck, man.
Timm, senior linebacker, River Falls. Awesome.
Man, a few words, but his actions speak for themselves on the football field, man. He is an animal at linebacker for them, just plowing guys over and making plays. And, yeah, he's going to have a big game to give the Falcons a chance. I mean, like I said, I still feel like Platteville is a bit of an enigma. That Springfield game still puzzles me a little bit because of how many guys, especially on defense, that Springfield graduated. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I feel in both cases, Frank, and I didn't mean to do this intentionally at first. I mean, I knew we were going to do the pork roll. I knew we were going to maybe highlight this game. But it was ironic that both of these teams kind of lost leads in games late, basically kind of on defense, you can say, although obviously the offense could have scored more, could have, should have, whatever. But there are some interesting parallels between Rowan and River Falls after last weekend. So we'll see what happens. But here we got the standings. I'll turn it over to you.
I'll let you run it through that real quick if you can. I'm just trying to get our timer back.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, like we said in crunch time, you've got the 4 undefeated teams at the top at the 1-0. If you look in the second line, this conference record, obviously there's only 2 undefeated teams overall, one of those being Platteville. So can they get to 5-0 and 2-0 in conference? That would be quite an accomplishment with this kind of murderer's row that they have to keep going through, and that this conference keeps putting up every week. I mean, lacrosse, they're gonna beat Eau Claire. That's not going to be a close game. Oshkosh Stout could be interesting. I don't know. Maybe the Titans have a little letdown. I mean, Stout has been slowly rising. They used to be kind of a doormat in this league, but in the last season or so, they've improved and they've gotten more stout. There's your dad joke, Frank. And then, we have River Falls down here tied for 5th at 0-1, along with Eau Claire, Stevens Point, and Whitewater. But a win for them against Platteville would vault them, up in the ranks pretty high.
Okay, I don't know where this is going to land if I do this. Let me see something.
Probably better than my dad joke.
Yeah, probably. Well, you just have to trust me that the clock is set at 12 minutes. I'll get this fixed for next week. For some reason, it got basically bulked out of our system here. Not sure why. But okay. I think it's time to pick some games, and we got 20 more of them. So we've picked 100 games this season so far. And now we're looking here to get ourselves into a position to maybe get some separation. You're up by 1. I am not. But this may play a key role in what's going to happen here. So, JB, if you're ready, the clock is imaginarily set here.
Okay.
There it is. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe just... you know what? It's not horrible. I'll fix the position later. There's their clock. So okay. We're ready to go. And the first game's up there. It's Misericordia at Love Val. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, Misericordia, really? The one thing I like about Lev Val is that they beat Del Val, and they've had a bye. So I'm going to lean towards Lev Val to win this one. I mean, yeah. I'll take Lev Val, the Dutch, I think, or whatever they are. What are these guys called? I'm taking too long. 31-21. Dutchman. Flying Dutchman.
Are you sure? Final answer on that. Final answer. Lev Val. Yeah, I think that their win against Del Val showed who they are a little bit, and I'm going to take them by a 28-17 score. Next up, we've got Middlebury at Williams, and I'm going to pick Williams here at home. I think that it's going to be a good game for sure, but I think home cooking in the NESCAC could be an important thing coming up as the season continues. Williams by the final score of 29-21.
Yeah, as much as I probably should pick my dad's alma mater of Middlebury, the fact that they've only beaten Bowdoin and Colby and they've lost to Wesleyan and Amherst by 10 or more points to Williams. The Eves getting the win in this one, 24-17.
Next up would be great if I could get it to go up. There it is. It's SUNY Maritime, USMMA. Go ahead.
Well, it was weird to see that the Mariners only scored 6 points against MIT last week. I'm not sure what's going on with the Bubba Mustaine Mariners, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here at home. Say they offense wakes up 31-17 Mariners.
Yeah, Trotta would love to have this win for sure as first-year head coach to sort of get the attention back on his team. But they are struggling a little bit. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to give the Mariners the edge here, 31-20. Next up, Carnegie Mellon Johns Hopkins, one of the biggest games of the week for sure. Our friend Stu Hinman and his crew will be the referees on this one, I believe.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's me, isn't it? I forget I need to go first, then snake back. Hopkins wins this game. I mentioned it. Joey McGinnis with the happy feet sometimes that we've seen. He's got to really mature quickly into this role, and this is going to be a tough game to mature into it in that realm. Johns Hopkins wins this game 35-17. I actually think that's going to be a little bit of a separated game.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the Midwest top 25 voters, if Hopkins doesn't take care of Carnegie Mellon handily, that they're going to really beat him up and try to drop him. So hard to believe that Hopkins could be disrespected that way, but we'll see. I agree that they'll win, though. I'll take, say, 35-21.
Westminster at Washington Jeff. Go ahead.
I feel like something's changed with the Presidents. Maybe it was John Peduzzi coming on in the huddle that just ignited a fire. And Coach Sirianni talking to Frank Rossi on the sideline. It's got them all jacked up there. Home game.
That's it.
So Presidents, they put up 70 points last week. They won't score as many on the Titans in this one, but they'll have enough to win 34-23.
I wasn't a believer in Westminster, as you know, coming into the season. I had a case ahead of them. I thought that it would be that order for third and fourth, and right now they're 3-1. And there was a Marietta game that was dead close.
Close call. They could have won.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as much as I like to pick them here, I think Washington Jefferson does have the tools in that receiving core, and with their quarterback humming now, to win this game. 35-28, high-scoring game. And next up is, look at this, Hobart Union.
It's one day of the year I don't like you, Frank. Yeah, of course.
Patch, don't let me down, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be at this game. 31-21, Union wins.
Hobart needs to win this game, otherwise their season could just really crash and burn. I know Coach DeWall said that there's a quarter of the team on the sidelines with injuries, but they're just going to have to figure out a way to get it done. So go Statesman, win it on a field goal, 17-14, please.
Here's the difference. This could tie us up depending on what happens with the rest of these. Now, Rowan and Montclair, go ahead. It's Breakfast Bowl 2.
This was such a close game last year. It came down to, I think, a missed field goal and then an OT winner. I feel like, though, Coach Rulli's team is just a little bit of a step above. So I'm going to take the Profs on the road, especially after that CNU loss. They're going to want to bounce back from that. 35-32. It's going to be a close call, but I'll stick with Procurol.
Lazo, get the bulletin board ready because it's both of us picking Rowan in this case. I think what I learned about Rowan is that they can play with anybody. I think CNU is that team right now after that 49-41 double overtime game, and Rowan was with them. Yeah, they lost the game, but it tells me a little bit more about their character, I think, this season that they're playing with. That's nothing against Montclair State and their character. I just think Rowan's got an edge here. 34-24, Rowan wins. Next up is Muhlenberg, Franklin and Marshall. I think I'm saving up my next visit to the Centennial for Muhlenberg Johns Hopkins, to be honest with you. And so I think Muhlenberg is that team right now. Yes, they're winning ugly at times, and Nate Milne will be the first one to admit that, but he'll take the wins how he can get them. And so I'm going to give them the edge against the Dips in this game. 28-20.
Yeah, I think the Dips have taken advantage of playing, a couple of teams that haven't won too many games, so their record's a little padded there. I'll take the Mules 35-21.
Next up for you to start, game 1 of the series, UMHB at Hardin-Simmons. Hit it.
Yeah, with the black unis and kind of this is a chance for the Cowboys to sort of make up for last season's playoff letdown. So I'm going to take the Cowboys at home. It'll be a close, low-scoring game. What's our favorite score, Frank? 28-24? Let's go with that.
Yep. Very infrequently do you say Hardin-Simmons has a better situation at quarterback than UMHB, but right now that's the case, and it's not a question of talent at the quarterback position at UMHB. They seem to have plenty of talent there, but it's a question of it meshing right now inside the system, and it's not. It's just not there in that realm. Yeah, they caught fire maybe toward the end of that game last week, but it was hard getting to that point again. So I'm going to say that Hardin-Simmons does win this game, 35-24, which I don't, if you told me 3 years ago I'd ever make that kind of call, I would have said you were nuts.
Yeah, right.
So Virginia at Brevard. You know what? 4-0 or 3-0, it doesn't matter with respect to that Keystone game. Southern Virginia seems to be upstart this year, more so than even Brevard, who is struggling at times. In that Belhaven game, I think they really overthought that thing. I saw a couple plays that I know they wish they could have back. They just were duds, especially in overtime. Southern Virginia we give the edge to here, 24-23.
I'm going to throw in behind the Tornadoes. I think that they're going to try to bounce back after losing a game they probably should have won. I think Beamish is a strong quarterback, and that Southern Virginia just has sort of played a weak schedule. So I'm going to go with the Tornadoes, 35-28.
Fair enough. Trinity Berry, game that you touted earlier as your Region 3 game of the week. Here we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers have been really impressive. I mean, they've been on a roll, undefeated, and so this is a game that, if they really are a top 20 team, they should win, but Barry's been up there for a while too. So when I look at this one, yeah, I'm going to go with the Tigers. Closer game, lower scoring, probably like a 28-21, but I think Trinity is the real deal.
Trinity 35, Berry 24. 35-24. Trinity wins this game. Same reasons. Hanover at Mount St. Joe's. I'm going to give Mount St. Joe's the edge being the home team on this one. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I'm going to give it a 28-27 feel to the game. I just think being home in this type of atmosphere with identical records gives the home team that edge. That's all I can go on for this one.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Hanover beat Alma sort of stands out. I'm thinking, well, geez, but Mount St. Joe's went toe-to-toe with Hope.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a tough call.
It's a tough one.
You know what the heck? I'm going to go with I'll go with Hanover with the upset here. 31-30.
Three differences so far, folks, if they're keeping track at home. Heidelberg, Marietta.
Here we go.
Yeah, basically, you go first on this one.
Oh, geez. So, yeah, this is a head-scratcher because how in the heck did Marietta lose to Ohio Northern 42-9? They barely beat Capital. They beat Westminster in week 1 on kind of that fluky play, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Ty and the Student Princes. Coach Donaldson, don't let me down, man. Picking you guys on the road here. Let's go Student Princes. They won 30-27 last week. Let's do it again. 30-27. Heidi.
It's tough. It is really a tough one. I agree with you. I don't know what to make of that score last week. If it was a close game, I think we would probably both be picking Marietta without blinking on this, and it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to join you. Poorman to the house. Heidelberg.
Poorman to Poorman. It happened.
Yeah, 37-30. I'm going to make that score for me. Ohio Northern, the aforementioned, at Muskingum. And ONU at 3-0 right now in the conference seems to be heating up. The Polar Bears, I'm going to give the win to here by a 35-21 game.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that one too. ONU, yeah, 35-21 sounds good to me.
6 games left. And we'll go to Illinois College at Monmouth.
I'm going to go with the Scots. I think they're going to cement their lead in the Midwest and win this one, say, 41-30. It's going to be a higher scoring game.
Yeah, this is not the Destin Chance version of the Illinois College, that's for sure, even though they did take care of Lake Forest. I'm going to give Monmouth the edge as well by a 28-20 score. Co-Simpson. This is the Simpson that's actually the D3 Simpson coming out here because
right. Not from California.
California version on our scoreboards. But Co for me still is the cream after Wartburg inside this conference. Central may be up there too, but I still think Co has
Central's
a real
good.
edge. 41-20, Cub.
Yeah, I mean, to Simpson's credit, they scored 13 on Wartburg, which was a few more points than Co was able to muster. But, that week 1 loss to Augustana sort of head scratcher. And I don't know. I'm going to go with the Co-Hawks. Kelly is a really good quarterback. 31-24, Co-Hawks.
It's the funk time of our show here as Concordia, Wisconsin hosts Lakeland. Go ahead.
We want the funk, and so I think the Falcons are going to fly, and they'll take care of the Lakeland, the Muskies also. I know there's Muskingum Muskies, but there's the Lakeland Muskies. The Falcons are going to grab that and fly off 41.
What was the score? You broke up there on me.
41-21.
41-21?
Funk is going to get dropped on the Muskies.
Oh, wow. You never want the funk to be on you like that. 40-20, actually. I'll take your ones off and give you 40-20 in this game. That is the Funk Masters winning. UW Platteville, UW River Falls, big game.
Yeah.
I think River Falls bounces back here. I really do. I think Caleb Blaha is a winner and is going to make sure this team does not lose 2 in a row like this. And so, yeah, they may be number 6 right now on the poll, but Platteville, I think, is going to have a tough one here. Lower scoring, 24-17.
Yeah, I've been sort of harping on this for a while. I think Platteville's overrated and has been by the voters because of last year. And I do think the Falcons at home with Blaha, it's going to be a tight one, but I'll give the Falcons the slight edge, 31-28.
Weaki time continues with Oshkosh at Stout.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans have played a much better schedule, a higher quality of opponent. Stout at home is, going to do their thing, but I think the Titans will pull away in this one and win it 35-21.
Yeah, I think what we learned is that they learned a lot from their schedule out of conference, and it was a good schedule, no doubt about it. So I'm going to give Oshkosh, the definite edge in this one. Again, their defense is where their bread and butter is, so lower scoring, 21-10 in favor of Oshkosh. Chapman at Pomona Pitzer. Tyler Pacheco, Kate Zimmerman, why not continue that there? I'm going to give them the edge here with their 2-game winning streak, even on the road, by a 27-10 score this time in Chapman's favor.
Yeah, I know I got burned by the Sage Hens when I picked them to beat Lewis and Clark in week 3, so I'm going to stick with Chapman. They look like a pretty solid football team. If you can, out call, what was it? They beat Redlands, they shut them out 400 yards to 70 something. I'll take the Panthers, say 21-10.
JB has been bragging in the background today about how he has come up with a new way to tell us how to watch the weekend. He's got his spreadsheets ready. He's got everything going here. And so, here's how I'm going to watch the weekend. I'm going to start at Hobart at Union, I should say. And then, and then I'm going to be hitting I-90, going to Somerville, Massachusetts for the second quarter and then some of the Bates Tufts game. And maybe go to O'Sullivan's and get a big burger and, enjoy a brewski or something after that game is done in Somerville. My old stomping grounds there from my law school days, bud. But how are you going to watch it? Yes, Matt Noonan. Yeah. Wow, yes. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Remember that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So this is interesting. So we have 102 games this weekend, and the first one is tonight between Kings and Stevenson at 7 p.m. And then we have this interesting sort of little sprinkling as it starts on Saturday. First game is Maine Maritime versus Curry at 11, and then we've got let's see, 10 games at 12, which is highlighted by Carnegie Mellon, Johns Hopkins. That's the headliner. But as you mentioned, Frank, Lyco, Susquehanna is also at noon. That's a big game for the Riverhawks to kind of get back on track. Then kicking off at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock and the 2 o'clock, the 1 and 2 o'clock kickoffs are really where the meat of the pork roll sandwich is going to be. 21 games at 1, 27 at 2 with a little asterisk because the, which one was it? Yeah, the Westminster W&J game is at 2:05 because of the broadcast. But starting at 1, you have games like Muhlenberg, Franklin and Marshall, Hobart Union, Rowan, Montclair in the Breakfast Bowl, Misericordia, Leb Val, which is our Region 1 game of the week. And then once we get into the 2 o'clock range, there's 27 games, as I said, plus a couple at 2:30. But the highlights for 2 o'clock are Platteville, River Falls, Mary Hardin, Baylor, Hardin Simmons. You also have Simpson at 2, Illinois College, Monmouth. As I said, the 2:05 is Westminster W&J. 2:30 is the Heidelberg Marietta game, which is one of the ones that we picked. Should be an interesting matchup. And then we got a handful of games like Southern Virginia Brevard at 3. You've got Linfield Pacific at 4. You have like 4 games at 3, 2 games at 3:30, 6 games at 4, 1 game at 4:30, and then you have 2 games at 6, and one of those 6 o'clock games is the big Trinity Berry game. So that's something to definitely tune into. 7 o'clock, there are 8 games. If you include the King Stevenson one from Friday, so 7 on Saturday. And the big kind of nightcap is the Chapman Pomona Pitzer at 10 o'clock. As you mentioned, Frank, the Bates Tufts game is at 7. You'll be trying to make that one on time. And you got North Central Milliken also at 7. That's going to be probably 42-0 at the end of the first quarter. Take the starters out after the first series, guys.
Well, it's going to be another good weekend of football here. I'm curious to see how certain games play out. Again, when you go back to the WAC standings, you kind of see, interesting things for sure. I think lacrosse is safe, so they'll probably remain undefeated this weekend. Oshkosh Stout is a battle of undefeated, so you're going to lose one of those. And Platteville, River Falls. If River Falls takes out Platteville, then you'd only have 2 undefeated teams in terms of the conference. And, lacrosse might be the only one standing there with a completely undefeated scenario overall at that point. But again, 2 losses and 3 losses may work. We'll go, let's see if I even put it in here. I may not have, but, we talked about the fact that we had 23 undefeated teams coming into this weekend, correct?
Yes.
Let's see if I can do this quick. I believe.
While you're looking that up, it's a big weekend for the PAC and for the Centennial. If you looked at those things, so here we go on the undefeated versus D3 teams. I mean, Region 2, we got Hopkins, Muhlenberg. We mentioned WestCon kind of has a gimme with the New Haven game. It doesn't really matter if they win or lose that one. That won't count towards their being undefeated or not. Obviously, Hardin Simmons has their streak on the line. Southern Virginia does as well. So does Trinity. I think Maryville's matchup is a winnable one for them, so they should advance to 5-0. Look at Region 4, Adrian. Wow. Just didn't see that one, coming in. I mean, we knew Noah Boudry would help them, but a 5-0 start's pretty amazing. Mount Union will have an easy win for them. I think DePaul might be either on a bye. And then no changes in Region 5. But, we can see, Platteville is the one question mark in Region 6. Bethel has a winnable game. Calou has a winnable game. Lewis and Clark has a winnable game. Same thing with lacrosse. So probably won't see a lot of changes on this list. In Region 1, maybe the Merchant Marine could get upset potentially. Stevenson, Kings. I mean, maybe the Monarchs have just had a rough start to the year, so I'm expecting the Mustangs to win that game. So we're probably not going to see a lot of changes or movement. So we'll still probably be over 20 undefeated teams when it's all said and done.
Okay, sir. I think it is time for us to go move our lives along here for this Friday as we prepare for high school homecoming tonight in Ballston Spa, and then Union College's homecoming tomorrow, in which they are doing inauguration of their new president. President Quiche is going to be brought in and sworn in, or whatever they call it.
Did you say the Union president's name is Quiche?
It's spelled Kiss, but the pronunciation guide they give is Quiche. Yeah, I swear to you, I do not make this stuff up.
Would you like some quiche and brie with your wine at our tailgate, sir? Yes, this is a very proper Union College. Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'll have a chance to catch a game in person. I will be leaving for New York City with my family. We're celebrating my oldest 21st birthday. My wife's birthday is tomorrow. I'll be within shouting distance of the Breakfast Bowl. We'll see if I get off the leash to go check that out. We'll see, but it is a big family weekend. Father-in-law is coming into town. 4 of the 5 kids will be there. A couple of them coming in from Boston. One of them is flying up with us. So this is all about Jen and her birthday. So my D3 football watching might be limited, but we'll see what I can come up with for coverage after the fact.
Happy birthday to beautiful Jen. As I married you guys, a few years back there, and
7+ years ago. Yeah.
She keeps getting younger looking. You
still putting up with me.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, we're done. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Twitter this weekend and back here on Tuesday for Crunch Time. See ya.
Come on, guys.